How did a child who at 9 years old was cleaning the bathrooms of a strict reform school in Kentucky, and who at 15 was washing dishes during the graveyard shifts at Denny's, become the most powerful man in the global tech industry? This is not your typical Silicon Valley success story. It is the chronicle of a lucid 30-year gamble. In 1993, no one would have bet a single dollar on Jensen Huang. Yet, this Taiwanese immigrant was about to found a company capable of surviving 3 near-fatal crises, staring down bankruptcy just 30 days before total collapse and rising back up every single time. Today, that company is called NVIDIA. With a staggering market capitalization of $5,450 billion, it is the engine powering the entire artificial intelligence of the planet. Get comfortable. This is Venture, and today we tell you the unstoppable rise of the king of chips, Jensen Huang. Jensen Huang was born in 1963 in Taipei, Taiwan. His father was a chemical engineer and his mother was an elementary school teacher. When Jensen was about 5 years old, the family moved to Thailand due to his father's work, as he had to contribute to the opening of an oil refinery. Due to the political and social tensions in Thailand, linked to the Vietnam War, his parents decided to send Jensen and his older brother to the United States, to Tacoma, Washington, to live with an uncle. The two brothers would later study at the Oneida Baptist Institute in Kentucky. Their parents thought it was a prestigious and strict private elite boarding school. In reality, the institute was a sort of academy for troubled youth and religious reform. In that hostile environment, Jensen and his brother became victims of bullying. Being the youngest and among the very few immigrants, they were forced into hard labor. The older brother was sent to work in the tobacco fields, while Jensen was tasked with cleaning the bathrooms of the entire institute every single day. This experience, he would later say, taught him resilience and the hardest work ethic. In the meantime, Jensen started working at the well-known restaurant chain Denny's. He began as a dishwasher, was later promoted to busboy, and finally became a waiter. Later on, his parents joined them in the United States, settling in Oregon. Jensen excelled at school and eventually enrolled at Oregon State University, where he graduated with a degree in electrical engineering in 1984. Afterward, while already working in Silicon Valley, he continued his studies at night until earning a master's degree in electrical engineering from Stanford University in 1992. Denny's was not just his first job. It was also the exact place where, in 1993, Huang would sit at a table with Chris Malachowski and Curtis Priam to sign the birth certificate and plan the foundation of NVIDIA. NVIDIA was born from a counter-current intuition to revolutionize the world of 3D video games. While all the tech giants of the era were building chips for spreadsheets and servers, Jensen Huang bet on graphics. But what exactly is a chip? It is a silicon wafer, packed with billions of microscopic switches that calculate data at the speed of light. And to manage the pixels of a game, billions of simultaneous calculations are required. Thus, NVIDIA created the GPU, a chip with an army of processors working in parallel, becoming the visual engine of a new era. In 1995, NVIDIA launched its first product, the NV1, a chip that could single-handedly handle graphics, audio, and even game controllers. The NV1 chip was innovative because it was based on high poly models, which were rich, fluid, and realistic. Sega, the Japanese gaming giant, began collaborating with NVIDIA, but the partnership turned out to be an absolute disaster. Out of 250,000 units sold, 249,000 came back from distribution partners. This happened because, right after the release of the NV1, Microsoft launched DirectX, the most powerful and efficient graphics APIs, which exclusively supported triangle primitives. This was a set of rules and tools launched by Microsoft in 1995 for game developers. Therefore, if anyone wanted to run games on Windows PCs, they had to follow these instructions. And the very first rule was to use triangles to draw everything, a concept totally incompatible with the NV1. This caused the collapse of NVIDIA. They were just 30 days away from bankruptcy. They reached a point where they worked in the office with the lights turned off to keep utility bills as low as possible. Several engineers left the company. But just when everything seemed over, Jensen decided not to give up and to make one last desperate attempt. Jensen decided to build a brand new chip in just 8 weeks, without physically testing it on hardware. An incredibly insane move, because in the chip industry, the golden rule is to test before you manufacture. When you send a chip design to the factory, they will produce millions of chips, not just one. Therefore, if there were even a single bug, every single chip would be defective. Jensen sent his chips to TSMC without physical testing. He simulated the entire chip purely via software, testing it exclusively in a virtual environment. A failure at this stage would have meant the definitive end of NVIDIA. After 8 weeks, the product arrived, and incredibly, the chip worked flawlessly, without any bugs or glitches. This chip was called the Riva 128. It was a massive success. NVIDIA sold 1 million units in the first 4 months. It was the rebirth of NVIDIA, which became the undisputed king of 3D graphics acceleration. In 1999, the GeForce 256 was released, the world's first GPU. In 2006, Jensen did something even crazier. He invested all of his profits into a unified software platform called CUDA, Compute Unified Device Architecture, a programming model that allowed developers to use GPUs not just for video game graphics, but for everything. For instance, NASA could calculate a rocket's trajectory in real time, and a self-driving car could spot someone running into traffic and brake. The result? It was a failure. CUDA was too futuristic, and nobody knew what to do with it. Artificial intelligence was not ready yet. AI was still small and experimental. There were no self-driving cars. For 6 years, nothing happened, and CUDA looked like a total failure. So much so that NVIDIA's stock price plummeted drastically. Until 2012, when a professor from the University of Toronto, Geoffrey Hinton, now widely considered the godfather of AI, had the controversial idea to create a computer brain that could see like a human and learn to recognize images on its own. After being fed a massive amount of data, with the help of 2 of his PhD students, Ilya and Alex, he started his project using NVIDIA's CUDA. Alex Krzyzewski was a wizard of hardware optimization, and using NVIDIA's CUDA framework, wrote a code from scratch capable of running a neural network directly on 2 commercial NVIDIA graphics cards bought for just a few dollars. The laboratory? His bedroom at his parents' house. With the help of Ilya Sutskever, who 10 years later would co-found OpenAI and create ChatGPT, the two, under the supervision of Geoffrey Hinton, created AlexNet, entering it into the ImageNet global competition against the best engineers in the industry from all over the world. The result? AlexNet obliterated all competition and caused a massive earthquake in the digital world. It was the big bang of AI. AlexNet proved that GPUs are the perfect brain to train these models. AI can learn as long as it is fed massive amounts of data. CUDA made all of this possible. After AlexNet, Google developed better systems for search and translation. Facebook improved facial recognition. Tesla started training self-driving cars, and OpenAI began to become a reality. All of these companies and projects were built on NVIDIA GPUs and CUDA. And NVIDIA became a $5 trillion, $450 billion company that changed the world, enabling the AI revolution. The story of NVIDIA is not a story of inevitable success, but the triumph of pure resilience. After all, the man who sits on the throne of the tech world today is the very same person who was washing dishes at Denny's at 15 and cleaning bathrooms at a strict reform school in Kentucky at 9. Jensen Huang built an empire of $5 trillion, $450 billion, simply by refusing to fail when the entire world told him he had already lost. Because if artificial intelligence is the new gold of the millennium, Huang didn't look for the golden nugget. He built the shovel. And today, the entire planet moves at the speed of his chips.